Good morning, my friends. I have to test my tuning. I have just retuned. Last night, I turned on heat for the first time, and of course, I woke up and my dulcimer was very flat because as the temperature goes up, the strings loosen, and loosen means that everything drops, so that's been a fun adventure this morning. But I think I've got it pretty much there at this point. She's a good girl and very well behaved and generally goes into tune very quickly and adjusts very nicely, which is one reason I am a big fan of dusty strings dulcimers in Seattle. That has been your promotion for the morning. So the song I am about to play is something I've been working on for a couple weeks now. It's not a terribly long song, it's not a terribly difficult song, but it's a really cool song because it was written and acknowledged as being written and published by a woman composer in the early 17th century. This is by Lucia Quinciani, who was born in 1566, and for reasons, patriarchy and sexism, we have a very great paucity of women composers throughout medieval, Renaissance, and Baroque history. Now, a lot of the music that comes down to us as being anonymously written was written by women, but I wanted to find music by women composers that I could name, that I could revive, that I could bring back, since I already specialize in playing ridiculously obscure music. So I found 3 composers. And of those composers, Marilena Casaluna has one surviving piece, and it's fairly easy to find. However, it is written for 3 voicings, and I only have 2 hands. So that means there's going to be a good bit of arranging to try and fit those 3 parts into 2 hammers. Francesca Caccini has an entire surviving book of tunes that was published in the early 1600s, and I'm really super excited about them, except they have never been transcribed into modern mensural notation, which is a shame and means that it's going to be an extra level of work to bring her works. As a side project, I am planning to transcribe a bunch of her works and put it on the internet for free. Talk to the Petrucci Library people at imslp.org and see if I can, in that way, also help to bring her music to a wider public by giving them the score. Not the entire book, that's a huge undertaking, but if I could take a dozen pieces, that would be a very good head start to say, hey, can we play her music? However, Lucia Quinciani had one piece that is already fairly common to find in mensural notation in 2-part duophony to match the fact that I have 2 hands with 2 hammers. And I happen to think it's pretty, which is also really, really nice. So I have been working, as I said, for a couple weeks on this piece, and I just nailed it this morning. So here's hoping I can get it for all of you, and if there's an awkward cut at this point and I change clothes or the time of day in the shadow shift, that means I didn't get it on the first try and I came back and tried it later. However, I am so excited about this piece that I decided to bring it to you in my pajamas. As I said when I began my Patreon campaign, this is backstage, and this is my townhome in Baltimore that I got very lucky on because I rented a much cheaper place, and the Airbnb host accidentally double booked it, and he upgraded me in order that I not complain to Airbnb, and it's been really, really pleasant. So this is Udite, lagrimosi, spiriti d'Averno, Udite, which translates roughly to, listen up, you spirits in hell, you weeping spirits of hell, listen up. Which I never bothered to translate the title until this morning and didn't realize it was quite so hardcore. Because the first word, Udite, I wasn't familiar with. I am going to absolutely, I knew it was a command form. I knew it was addressed in the familiar second person. So it's you do something, but I didn't know Udire was to hear. I usually use different words. I usually use to listen, and modern Italian tends to use a different verb, sentire, to mean to hear. And so udire has fallen out of use, and I had to go look it up. And then I knew it was, weeping spirits of something. But then when I'm like, Daverno, what's Daverno? Is Averno a city? And then I'm like, oh, it's Avernus. This is a word for the underworld. And so now it feels kind of metal. So this is again the first in my proposed series of women composers, Lucia Quinciani, Udite, lagrimosi, spiriti d'Averno, Udite. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for listening. Nailed it on the first try. Thank you very much for everything. I hope that this finds you doing well. I'm super excited to play the closing weekend of the Maryland Renaissance Festival here in a few days. And I look forward to seeing you down the road. Take care.